There is a moment when your entire future shifts, not because fate suddenly remembered you, but because you finally aligned with what was always yours. If you knew that just 3 minutes of intention, repeated 3 times a day, could pull your marriage closer than ever, would you do it? Because the universe responds the moment you decide who you are. Marriage is not delayed because something outside of you is blocking it. Marriage is delayed when your inner world is not yet synchronized with the reality you desire. And the beautiful truth is that this alignment can happen faster than you think. It does not require complicated rituals, endless waiting, or years of hoping. It only requires one simple inner act, practiced 3 times a day, for just 5 days straight. This is the secret that shifts timelines, dissolves doubt, and accelerates the arrival of your marriage in ways that feel miraculous. Every desire that calls your heart is already alive in the unseen world. And the desire for marriage, especially when it is persistent, powerful, and peaceful, is not random. It is a divine signal, a whisper from your future self telling you, I already exist. Just match the frequency. The mistake most people make is they wait for marriage emotionally, but worry spiritually. They hope with their words, but doubt in their imagination. And the universe responds, not to your wishes, but to your dominant inner picture. This is where the 3 times a day method becomes life-changing. When you set aside a moment, slow down your breathing, and imagine the scene that represents your marriage already fulfilled, something powerful happens inside you. You stop waiting, and you start becoming. You stop questioning, and you start embodying. You stop chasing, and you start attracting. And when done 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and night, your mind begins to accept the imagined scene as your new identity. For 5 days straight, your inner world becomes saturated with one truth. I am married. My union is done. My partner and I are already one. This consistency is what speeds up the manifestation. Most people imagine once, then doubt for the next 10 hours. But when you repeat this inner vision multiple times a day, doubt has no room to breathe. Your mind stops resisting, because repetition convinces it that what you imagine is real. Imagine this. You close your eyes and see yourself wearing a ring that warms your heart. You picture your partner's smile as they hold your hand. You feel their presence beside you, not as a wish, but as a memory you are re-experiencing. You feel gratitude, not because you hope it will happen, but because you know it already has spiritually. Hold this one scene for 20 to 30 seconds, 3 times a day. It may seem simple, but simplicity is where the universe works fastest. As you do this, your energy shifts without you even trying. You begin to speak differently. You carry yourself differently. You stop searching and start expecting. You stop panicking and start preparing. You stop feeling alone and start feeling chosen. This inner shift is not imaginary, it is magnetic. Everything in your field starts rearranging to match this new assumption. People often ask, why 3 times a day? Because saturation breaks resistance. When your mind sees the same scene repeatedly, it treats it as a memory, not a fantasy. When you practice this consistently for 5 days, your subconscious begins rewriting your identity. And marriage is not a reward. It is a reflection of identity. When you become the version of yourself who is already married, life rearranges itself to prove you right. Throughout these 5 days, something else happens too. Your fear dissolves. The fear you'll never meet the right person. The fear of losing someone. The fear that time is running out. The fear that you're not worthy of love. All these fears melt every time your imagination returns to the fulfilled vision. And the moment fear dies, manifestation accelerates with incredible speed. Marriage does not come to the desperate heart. It comes to the aligned heart. And alignment is simply the consistent choice to believe in the unseen over the visible, the spiritual over the physical, the future over the past. When you give the universe the same message again and again, it is done. It has no choice but to bring it into form. Most people pray for love, but imagine loneliness. They speak faith, but visualize rejection. They want commitment, but expect disappointment. That is why the 3 times a day method breaks the old cycle. It overrides the past. It silences the old story. It forces your mind to focus only on the result you choose. and the universe mirrors your focus with absolute precision. During these 5 days, speak to yourself differently. Tell yourself, my marriage is already written. My partner is already aligned with me. My love story is unfolding now. My wedding day already exists in the unseen. When you repeat these truths, your energy becomes irresistible. Your future partner feels you on the level of spirit. Your timeline accelerates. Connections open. Conversations shift. Calls appear. Reconciliation occurs. New people show up. Obstacles dissolve. Everything begins to work in your favor, because your inner state is finally ready to receive what has always been yours. But here is the deeper truth. The moment you imagine your marriage as complete, you are not creating it. You are remembering it. Your desire is simply your spirit, reminding you that this reality already exists somewhere in the invisible. This practice is not about forcing something to happen. It is about aligning yourself with what is already waiting for you. On day 1, you may feel excited. On day 2, you may feel calm. On day 3, you may feel emotional. On day 4, you may feel powerful. On day 5, you may feel transformed. This pattern is normal, because every day strips away layers of old beliefs, doubts, and emotional blocks. And by the end of the 5th day, your entire identity has shifted into the version of you who is no longer waiting for marriage, but confidently walking toward it. When your imagination becomes your home, the outer world becomes your mirror. You will begin to notice small signs, unexpected compliments, alignment numbers, sudden intuitive nudges, dreams of love, messages from someone you care about, opportunities for connection. These signs aren't random. They are confirmations that your new self-concept is taking root. Most people think manifestation is about controlling circumstances. But manifestation is about controlling focus. And when you give the same focus 3 times a day to the same fulfilled vision, you accelerate the timeline dramatically. The universe responds instantly to consistency. It responds instantly to clarity. And it responds instantly to expectations saturated in gratitude. Your marriage is not far away. It is not delayed. It is not missing. It is simply waiting for you to live in the feeling of already mine. 5 days of intentional imagination is enough to shake heaven and earth. 5 days is enough to rewrite your destiny. 5 days is enough to shift your frequency so deeply that your future spouse feels the pull of your spirit. And the most beautiful part? You don't need to know how it will happen. You don't need to know through whom it will happen. You don't need to know when it will happen. Your only job is to embody the state of being married long before the world sees it. The universe fills in the details. Life arranges the steps. Divine timing becomes divine acceleration. Remember this. Nothing is hard for the universe, but the universe waits for your inner permission. When you imagine the fulfillment 3 times a day, you are giving that permission. You are saying, I accept this reality, I agree with this future. I claim what is already mine. That declaration is what speeds up the arrival of your marriage more than any action, any hope, or any waiting could ever do. So for the next 5 days, commit to this simple practice. Close your eyes. Enter the end result. Hold the scene with emotion, not effort. Repeat it morning, midday, and night. Do this with belief, with calmness, and with gratitude. Your imagination is not pretending. It is creating. It is aligning. It is summoning. It is calling into the physical world the very love your soul has already claimed. And soon, sooner than you expect, you will see the evidence appear. A message, a meeting, a shift, a breakthrough, a moment where everything changes. Because when you do this for 5 days, the universe does not delay. It responds with precision, power, and perfect timing. Your marriage is on its way. Your love story is unfolding. Your divine partner is being guided toward you right now. And all it takes is 3 moments a day, for 5 days straight, to unlock the future that already belongs to you. Your imagination becomes the bridge between where you stand and the marriage that is calling your spirit. And when you allow your inner vision to overpower your fears, everything begins to shift. When you see yourself already united, already loved, already chosen, your mind starts treating this vision as truth instead of fantasy. The energy of expectation becomes stronger than the energy of doubt, and the universe mirrors the dominant picture playing within you. This inner picture becomes a silent command, directing your steps, your mindset, and your emotions toward the future that is already unfolding. You stop waiting and start aligning. You stop begging and start believing. And slowly everything around you begins to rearrange itself to match the scene you have chosen to accept as real. This is the moment your marriage speeds up, because the universe always responds to the clearest signal inside your heart. Repeating one fulfilled scene 3 times a day sends a message so powerful that your subconscious cannot resist accepting it as your new identity. Every repetition becomes a gentle reminder that you are already aligned with the version of you who is loved, cherished, and committed. When you close your eyes and feel that ring on your finger, or hear your partner whisper your name with affection, something shifts inside you. The gap between desire and reality gets smaller with each repetition, because your mind no longer sees this union as distant. Instead, it becomes familiar, safe, and expected. This consistency turns imagination into embodiment, and embodiment is what transforms the invisible into the visible. When your subconscious accepts the scene as done, the outer world begins to follow like a shadow. 5 days of emotional alignment is enough to break years of doubt, fear, and disbelief that once stood between you and your marriage. When you allow your heart to saturate itself with the feeling of being chosen, being loved, and being united, your energy becomes magnetic. Your inner world clears. Your spirit becomes lighter, and the emotional blocks that slowed your manifestation begin to dissolve. You no longer worry about timing, delays, or obstacles, because you feel the truth vibrating inside you. Something in your gut whispers, it's already unfolding, and that whisper becomes stronger every day. By the 5th day, your entire frequency has shifted, and you are no longer calling your marriage from a place of lack, but from a place of certainty. Your inner state is the foundation of everything you attract, and when you shift from waiting for love to already loved, your entire world responds. The moment you embody the identity of someone who is chosen in spirit, your behaviors, your energy, and your expectations transform naturally. You stop chasing signs and start living from the end. You stop fearing loneliness and start feeling spiritual companionship. This inner shift is subtle but incredibly powerful, because the universe reflects who you are being, not what you are wanting. When you walk like someone who is already married, speak like someone who is already committed, and think like someone who is already united, your timeline accelerates without effort. The universe is always listening, not to your words, but to the frequency you live in. And when your emotions match the version of you who is already married, the universe begins delivering evidence of that truth. You become aligned with a reality where your partner is already connected to your soul. Your heart sends out a vibration that pulls your person toward you, without force, fear, or pressure. This alignment creates clarity inside you, and clarity is what removes delays. When your identity shifts into the fulfilled state, life begins organizing every detail, as if responding to a spiritual blueprint. Opportunities arise, conversations open, reconnections happen, and subtle signs guide you closer to your union with perfect timing. Gratitude becomes your most powerful magnet when you start thanking the universe for a marriage that hasn't yet appeared physically. When gratitude becomes your dominant emotion, you no longer approach your desire from lack or desperation. Instead, you approach it from completion and certainty. This kind of gratitude says, I know it's mine, and the universe responds faster to that energy than any prayer spoken from fear. Gratitude softens your heart, lifts your vibration, and places you in a state of receiving rather than chasing. It removes emotional resistance and invites blessings to flow toward you without struggle. When you feel grateful for love that is on its way, you call it closer with every breath. The moment you fully assume that your marriage is done, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself to prove your assumption true. You step into a timeline where doubt disappears, and your desires take on physical form. Life begins to deliver divine coincidences, unexpected messages, sudden clarity, surprising opportunities, and shifts that feel almost supernatural. You stop seeing delays as obstacles and start recognizing them as divine timing playing perfectly in your favor. Everything becomes easier, smoother, and more aligned, because you are no longer fighting the process, you are partnering with it. When your inner decision becomes final, your outer world follows. And that is when your marriage moves toward you with unstoppable speed.